Welcome back, darlings. Controversial one for you this time. This is a mitt on the stick. Now, I use this to get into the middle of large roofs that I can't reach. Now, bearing in mind I'm 6'2" and I use a hop up, there are still things that I can't get into the middle to. My van is one of them. I get covered in stuff if I'm trying to get into the middle. So this really helps me with that particular problem. But I wouldn't really use it for anything else. However, this is the Ava Flow head. Now, I wanted to show you the mitt on the stick because you need to understand that I already am sold on the sense that you could use a mitt on the stick and use it for some hard to reach areas. However, the Flow head, small noodle mitt again, has water running through it. So it's much safer as it should flush itself out. That's the theory anyway. I want to test if you can safely clean your car with this and see how quick it can be. Because this could be one of those things that gets you out of a pinch, much like the previous video I did with the contactless wash. This is the next step on from that, as I alluded to. So, you're going to join me on the first time I'm using this and doing it on my van, and I can show you my thoughts as I'm going along. We'll see where we get to. With the shampoo applied via the snow foam lance, I applied it to the whole vehicle and then I set about giving it a wash. So I'm using the head without any flow, but I've just kicked in the flow. So I washed a small section and then put the water flowing through. Then I turned it off, did another section, but you can see when I did the flow, it sort of started rinsing off some of the suds from another area as well. So I think you need to be a bit careful about where you're putting the water on in order to flush out the head. Let's get that collar down. Now, here's some limitations, grill work, and it does give you an idea that this is designed for a quick maintenance wash. It's not expecting it to be a full-on deep clean, but in the winter it's quick and it's better than it was. And I think you could easily level that and say yes, it is quick and better than it was. So, and again here I'm doing a small area and then flushing it out. Now this area worked a bit better for the flushing out because I was just going over the same area and I wasn't affecting the areas next to it and therefore washing off some of the additional shampoo. However, I will say that I'm going over the same area multiple times and it's less lubricated each time I do it. I mean, the water obviously adds something and there are still some suds behind, but I probably am increasing the chance of marring by doing it that way. I'm not sure. Silver's a very difficult one to see it on as well, but you'd imagine that by having less suds, even though there's water flowing through the head, by going over the same area, I'm potentially increasing the chance of any marring, which is not what we want to do. Even though this is quick, we don't want to increase the chance of damaging anything. It is a noodle mitt, that should help mitigate some of the things. We've got to still have decent wash practices, and that's what I was kind of learning as I was going along doing this. The bonnet holding up. That's right. Doesn't look massively dirty. Doesn't look like there's loads of bits stuck in it. We'll do the sills in a minute. We'll see. A lot of the shampoo's come off now. I should have done like a panel at the time. Then I moved round to the back. I've done the whole side and the bonnet, and I was doing the back now. I haven't washed out the head at all. I've done the flow through it, but I've not put it in a bucket of water to rinse it out. Maybe I should have, I'm not too sure. Yeah, slipping a little bit, but it's doing all right. This is quick. I'm finding actually is if you come in like sideways with it, it's better rather than doing it like right in front of you. Must be due to the articulation. You'll find here that I've ended up talking over the pressure washer quite a few times, so you can't actually hear everything I've said. So I'm adding it in voiceover. The pressure washer is on and flushing now. What I've found was doing like those bottom sill areas and stuff like that, that really you want to go in with it flushing, regardless of how much shampoo is on there. Now I'm fortunate the van's got a load of plastic trim, as has my car down here, but I would definitely say do it on a painted part as well. However, you may want to go a little bit slower and not do such a big area if you've got painted plastics down here as opposed to just bare ones. So here's the bit I think is the acid test. I'm going to do the bottom sills without it flushing on this side, see what it comes up like, and on the other side I'll flush it and see what we do. So, or maybe you would just go flushing on it, I'm not sure. So, look, all the way across. Accidentally clipped on it. Okay, active line of dirt there, you see. Let's go have a quick rinse. I don't know what I meant by active line of dirt. I think I'm just making stuff up as I go along. What I will say is it's a good idea to put the lock on the trigger so you don't accidentally keep squirting water through, because I wasn't trying to on that side. Does that rinse much of it out? Well, the big line's gone. Okay. So then the other approach to doing this would be on flushing the entire time. So let's do that now. So for this one, I've got the water flushing through the entire time. However, there's not much shampoo left, and that isn't just because it's been on the car for ages, it's because I washed the top parts of these panels already, and it's rinsed off all the other suds that are on there. So that's probably not great, in all fairness. Now, the thing I would say is I learned from this is you really should probably do a whole panel top to bottom in one go. Now that's interesting. There's no dirt, as far as I can tell, in this head. So I think that's done a fantastic job of cleaning the panel and also rinsing the dirt away, keeping it away from the panel and out of the mitt fibres. So that's good. Must be on the floor, I'm assuming. I'll give it a bit more of a thorough scrub out and clean here in the bucket. You'll notice that this is just against the grit guard with the water flowing through. There's no water in the bucket. Okay, so on the van, I found that I foamed the entire vehicle with shampoo and then set about cleaning it. I wouldn't do that. I would foam an area you're going to work on with the shampoo. So you've all done the pre-wash before. So then you're working on a smaller area and the foam is staying thicker and more lubricated. So that's definitely one thing. And then on the first time I was doing it there, I was kind of flushing it out as I went along. And I realised afterwards that's kind of diluting the shampoo that's on there. So it's good to flush out at the end, but halfway through or when you're doing the panel, you're possibly reducing the amount of lubricity you've got there and therefore potentially increasing your risk of marring. So I'm about to show you actually the third time I did this, and I did have something else in the middle, and I'll tell you about that afterwards, why it's not in the video. All right, another day, another challenge. So now, this time around, I'm going to foam on some Kochemi VB. That's 1% PIR in here, which is 100ml for this setup. And so that's like the 10-to-1 sort of dilution ratio-ish, give or take. Lessons learned from previous attempts, I'm going to foam like the panel area that I'm going to be working and then rinse it off and then try that, see if that makes it slicker. Pretty good even coverage going on there. Switch over to the flow head. Now, important to lock up the collar because you don't want this thing flapping around. Right, firstly, I'm going to make this wet by flushing some water through. There we go. Dry mitt wouldn't really help anything. So here we go. Now, I'm going to work my way along the car at the cleanest heights first, like I did before. Clean, get it in there. I know these aren't too dirty. It's been pre-washed with Kochemi VB at 2% PIR, thoroughly rinsed down. I'm not going to go too low here yet because, dirt from the wheel arch, even though it's been thoroughly pre-rinsed. Go up here a little bit, the wing mirror. Okay, we know this isn't going to be perfect, right? This is not saying it's the perfect clean. Get the mirror face a little bit, anything that helps improve it. In there. Now, this is the bit where you think, I might start flushing it. Now, my logic for doing it over an area I've already washed is to help remove some of the soap residue from the paint and also some of the suspended dirt on the paint there as well. What I don't want to be doing is flushing it before I get onto the suds down here, because I'm going to rinse it all away. So, keep going. And then I would say, now that I've been over that, I'll flush. I think I made a massive mistake there and poor practice. Can you spot what it was? To me, I went from the very dirty low part of the door and without flushing went up to the top of the next door. So I think you need to flush when you get to the bottom of each panel. Seals are pretty bad, right? I am not seeing any real dirt or contamination picking up in this. So pre-wash is thorough and important. You give it a quick move around in there. An extra bit of flushing. It's been done. On it. Still feels very slick under the mitt. I mean, you can tell it is feeling a little bit less slick. So I started to rinse it out. You can tell the difference when there's lots of suds underneath it and when there's not. I found by pushing it backwards and forwards there, I ended up pushing water over onto the side of the suds I hadn't yet washed. So really you want to go side to side and maybe not have it flowing as you're going right up to the edge of the area you haven't washed. I haven't yet felt like I've needed to use the grit guard bucket when I do after I finish this bit. That's when I'm going to go back. So first I'll give it a rinse. That's the front bit done there. A bit rough, I mean it is rough, isn't it? It's not going to be a perfect clean, but the main thing is I'm still seeing this. The pad is incredibly clean, which is critical, isn't it? I'll quickly whiz round and do the top half of the driver's side. Apologies if this footage makes you feel a bit motion sick. I know it does for some people. Rather than rinsing that off, I'm going to flush it out. Let's have a look. A bit foamy, can't really tell. I'm going to rinse it in this bucket. Yeah, we're still looking grand. I'm going to lock the trigger as well so I don't actually press it. And we come back in here. Now, I think I will say, you can go around doing this. Ava sell a pack of 5 different heads. And I think in that pack there are 3 different colours. This appeals to me. The 3 different colours bit appeals to me. Because I think you could swap the heads and go, oh, I'm doing low bit. I only used the red one on the low. And you know the red one is your one for like the gritty mucky areas. So you don't have to worry so much about using that on the higher parts of the paint. I'll give it a flush. Make sure the head's nice and clean. Now I'm going to go in on the bottoms here because I haven't done these yet. Gosh. Do you know what I like about that? It's almost empty and it's still drawing. So many foam cannons don't do that. I genuinely think that is one of the best foam cannons on the market. Whatever other people's opinions are of Ava, you can't knock the accessories, in my opinion. I think the accessories are brilliant. This is the bit it will struggle with the most because of the contoured surfaces and just the shape of the brush head, but I'm getting in there pretty well. Pretty pleased with that. Yeah, that curved bit there. I tell you what, it's not bad, is it? I mean, it's not going to be brilliant, but if you're doing a quick wash and you want to do one step on from the spray and rinse job earlier, then it's a good tip. It's still remarkably clean. I know there's lots of foam in there, but we give it a go here. I'm flushing on this bit because this bit is one of the grittiest parts of the car. So I think I need I feel more confident with there being a constant flow of water coming out on this bit. There you go. Hang a minute, 1 second. My little helper's arrived. Hello. You can sit there, darling, yeah? Yeah. Cool. Right, so now it's been washed. Has it been washed? Good, it's been washed. So now we just need to rinse it off? Yeah. Yeah? Yeah?
And then they'll be clean as new.
Oh, clean as new, that's right.
Very fun. My Daddy is the best.
Daddy is the best? Oh, cleaning cars, there was a caveat. Now for the rinsing off here, I would just go with the 60 wide because we don't need any cleaning power really, it's just rinsing off the residual shampoo. Yeah? Yeah. There we go, and the hydrophobics of this have come right back. I just want to point this out. This is Infinity Wax QDX, which has been on for 2 weeks, and now it's been hit with Koch Chemie VB at 2% PIR, and then contact wash with Koch Chemie VB at 1% PIR. And look how it's come back from a QD. That stuff is insane. And I applied it wet, not even dry. So now it's fine, it's rinsed off. The thing is, you could dry this now, contact dry, but let's say the whole point of this is your rush, you're going out. You could drive off now and it would dry itself. If you haven't got time to dry and you're not going out, you can rinse it off with deionized water and no need to dry. And that's what I'm going to do next. I have to say the water flow coming out of the Ava trigger gun is actually surprisingly smooth, and which is great for doing this exercise. So let me show you. And you just gently take it down the panel, sheeting it off. Obviously this helps massively that there's quite a good hydrophobic base layer in there, so it's sheeting the water off nicely. But you can see the car is practically dry, and I know that anything that's left isn't going to water spot. There we go, that is it. I've done the entire car pre-wash and contact wash in 45 minutes. That is a very quick way of cleaning your car and being able to drive off and have a much better day for it. So with that, back to the studio after one message from our sponsors.
Make sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel.
Brilliant. Good advice. Mwah. Okay, so I learned some more doing it that time. Now, the time I did in the middle, which I didn't show, I had this brilliant idea that I was going to use the self-priming hose for the Ava, put it in a bucket of shampoo, like shampoo water, and use that to flush through. And it did, it worked incredibly well. However, Andreas Schwarzenegger pointed out, and he was absolutely right to do this, that Ava say don't put shampoo in line through the pressure washer, and that's one of the #1 reasons for pressure washer failures. And I thought that was really interesting. So I haven't shown you that because whilst it worked really well, it could be poor advice and could reduce the longevity of your pressure washer. It did work though. However, my overall learnings now, good pre-wash, really important, same with any contact wash method. And you'll see I made a couple of mistakes, I think, in there. Like I went down from the bottom of the panel and then up to the next bit. What you should do is work your way down, flush it as you're at the bottom. So go all the way down, do the bottom bit, and flush it out as you're going over the bottom part as well. And then check this. I found that it came out clean every single time, so I was really impressed with that. And then you could, and I would, put it in a rinse bucket, agitate it around just to get any like bits of debris that you can't see. You don't have to do it. You could get away with not doing it, I think, but safety first. You know, if you don't want to scratch the paint, I think that's the best way of avoiding that. Pretty easy to do as well. And then, yeah, just make sure you're working your panel at the time and you flush at the bottom. I think that's the best bit of advice that I've got. And then you don't really need to go back over the top part to flush out. So, in answer to the question, can you clean your car safely with this flow head? Yeah, definitely, I think you can. Safety is objective, right? I think this was pretty safe. I've got a white car, so it's difficult to see if they've got any marring on it from it. I don't think I really have from what I could see. But I think it's a safe thing to do. I would get the pack of other mop heads that go with this as well. So I said it's 5 earlier on, it's 4. There's 2 of the noodly ones, and you also then get one of the blue long open fibre ones, and then like a really plush red one. So you could use different parts for different jobs. So if you're going, I'm going to do the bottom parts of the sills now, you could whack on one of the blue ones if you wanted to, for example. Although you would have 5 bonnets actually, because when you buy the flow head, it does come with one of these by default. So you would have 5 heads, 3 of these types, and then 2 of the others. I hope that was interesting, pretty controversial. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much for watching. Go and like and subscribe.